Students, in this lecture, we'll discuss Module 1 further part, the flow and error control. Okay? Flow and error control. And that will be described briefly after defining flow and error control. Then these two issues will be discussed. We have seen that one of the responsibility of the data link control sublayer is flow and error control at the data link layer. Now we'll discuss about flow control. This is related to a producer consumer problem. Whenever there is an entity which produces items and there is one more entity which consumes those items, then if the producer and consumer are producing and consuming, then there is a need of balance between producer and consumer rates, because if the items are produced faster then they can be consumed, the consumer can be overwhelmed and they may discard some of the items. Similarly, if the items are produced more slowly then they can be consumed, the consumer must wait and the system becomes less efficient. So, flow control is related to this first issue. There is a need to prevent the data items at the consumer side to be lost. So, in communication at the data link layer, we are going to deal with four entities: network and data link layers at sending node, and network and data link layers at the receiving node. Then we can have a complex relationship with more than one producer and consumer. But the relationship between networks and data link layers is ignored, and there is a need to concentrate on the relationship between two data link layers. Okay, so this diagram is going to show flow control at the data link layer. So this is a producer at sending end, receiver node, producer, then data link layer. This is data link layer. Frames are pushed, then flow control is shown here. Okay, is it clear? Then, so what we are going to see from this figure is that the data link layer at the sending node tries to push frames towards the data link layer at the receiving node. If the receiving node cannot process and deliver the packet to its network at the same rate that the frames arrive, it becomes overwhelmed with frames. So, flow control in this case can be feedback from the receiving node to the sending node to stop or slow down pushing frames. Next, we will discuss about buffers. One of the solution is normally to use two buffers. Okay, so flow control can be implemented in several ways. But one of the solution is normally to use two buffers. One buffer at the sending end and one more buffer at the receiving end. Okay, so one of the solution is normally to use two buffers, one buffer at the sending data link layer and another at the receiver. Then this buffer is a set of memory locations that can hold packets at the sender and receiver. The flow control communication can occur by sending signals from the consumer to the producer. Whenever the buffer of the receiving data link layer is full, it informs the sending data link layer to stop pushing frames. Okay, so is it clear? Next we'll discuss about error control. Whatever is at physical layer, the underlying technology, it is not fully reliable, then there is a need to implement error control at the data link layer to prevent the receiving node from delivering corrupted packets to its network layer. Error control at the data link layer is normally very simple. Okay, and it can be implemented using one of the following two methods. Okay, we are going to discuss both the method. A CRC is added to the frame header by the sender and checked by the receiver in both the methods. The first method is, if the frame is corrupted, it is silently discarded. If it is not corrupted, the packet is delivered to the network layer. Second method, if the frame is corrupted, it is silently discarded. If it is not corrupted, an acknowledgement is sent to the sender. Okay. Next, we'll discuss about combination of flow and error control. The flow and error control can be combined. If the situation is simple, the acknowledgement that is sent for flow control can also be used for error control to tell the sender the packet has arrived uncorrupted. Then, if that acknowledgement is lacked, it means that there is a problem in the sent frame. Okay? A frame that carries an acknowledgement is normally called an ACK to distinguish it from the data frame. Next, we'll discuss about connectionless and connection oriented concept. The data link control protocol can be either connectionless or connection oriented. Okay, then first we'll see about connectionless protocol. In case of a connectionless protocol, the frames are sent from one node to the next without any relationship between the frames. Each frame is independent. The term connectionless here does not mean that there is no physical connection. The term connectionless here does not mean that there is no physical connection, transmission medium between the nodes. It means that there is no connection between frames. The frames are not numbered and there is no sense of ordering. Most of the data link protocols for LANs use connectionless protocol. Next we'll discuss, I have done a mistake. It is connection oriented protocol. Okay, in a connection oriented protocol, there are three phases, so called setup phase, transfer phase and tear down phase. What is setup phase is that first there is a need to establish a logical connection between the two nodes, that is setup phase. Then transfer phase means after all frames that are somehow related to each other are transmitted, that is transfer phase. Then tear down phase means the logical connection is terminated. So in this type of communication, the frames are numbered and sent in order. If the same set are received and then deliver them in order to the network layer, connection oriented protocols are rare in wired LANs, but we can see them in some point to point protocols, some wireless LANs and some WANs. Next, we'll discuss about data link layer protocols. 4 protocols have been defined for the data link layer to deal with flow and error control traditionally. Simple, stop and wait, go back in and selective repeat. The first 2 protocols still are used at data link layer, but the last 2 protocols have been disappeared. Okay, we are going to discuss the first 2 protocols, in which we need to understand some wired and wireless LANs. Then now we will see about what is finite state machine, FSM. In case of a data link protocol, the behavior of this DLC protocol can be better shown as a finite state machine, FSM. And FSM is thought of as a machine with a finite number of states. Then all the time the machine will be in one of the states until an event occurs. Each event is associated with 2 reactions. Defining the list is possibly empty of actions to be performed, and determining the next state which can be the same as the current state. One of the states must be defined as initial state. This initial state means the state in which the machine starts when it turns on. Turns on. Okay, turns on. Then there is an example that will show machine using FSM. We'll see the diagram later. There are rounded corner rectangles to show states, colored text to show events, and regular black text to show actions. Then horizontal line is used to separate the event from the action. We replace the horizontal line with a slash. The arrow shows movement to the next state. So this is a figure that is showing a machine with 3 states using FSM. Okay, figure is connectionless and connection oriented service represented as FSM. There are a machine with 3 states. There are only possible 3 events and 3 possible actions. Okay, the machine starts in state 1. You can see it. Machine starts in state 1. If event 1 occurs, the machine performs action 1 and 2 and moves to state 2. Okay, state 2. When the machine is in state 2, 2 events may occur. If event 1 occurs, the machine performs action 3 and remains in the same state. If event 3 occurs, the machine performs no action but move to state 1. Move to state 1. Is it clear? So next we'll discuss about simple protocol. This is the first protocol, which is a simple protocol which is with neither flow nor error control. We assume that the receiver can immediately handle any frame it receives. So in other words, we can say the receiver can never be overwhelmed with incoming frames. So this figure shows the layout for this simple protocol. Okay, you can see sending node, receiving node, network and data link layer, network and data link layer. The data link layer at the sender gets a packet from its network layer, makes a frame out of it and sends the frame. So frame is sent here. Frame is sent, sends the frame. The data link layer at the receiver receives a frame from the link, extracts the packet from the frame and delivers the packet to its network layer. The data link layers of the sender and receiver provide transmission services for their network layers. Next we'll see FSM, finite state machine, for the simple protocol. The sender site should not send a frame until its network layer has a message to send. The receiver site cannot deliver a message to its network layer until a frame arrives. So this requirement will be shown using 2 FSMs. Each FSM has only one state, the ready state. This is one FSM, this is one more FSM, and they are in the only one state, ready state, ready state. Okay, the sending machine remains in the ready state until a request comes from the process in the network layer. When this event occurs, the sending machine encapsulates the message in a frame and sends it to the receiving machine. The receiving machine remains in the ready state until a frame arrives from the sending machine. So when this event occurs, the receiving machine decapsulates the message out of the frame and delivers it to the process to the network, at the network layer. So this figure shows the finite state machine FSMs for the simple protocol. Okay. So here you can see packet came from network layer, make a frame and send. Frame arrived, deliver the packet to the network layer. So there is an example we'll see for this particular. This example shows an example of communication using this protocol. It is very simple. The sender sends frame one after another without even thinking about the receiver. So frames are set one after another without even thinking about the receiver. It goes on sending the frames when they are generated. Next we'll discuss about stop and wait protocol. I think I will discuss this in next lecture. I'll stop here. You go through this, understand. I'll see it in next lecture.